Hey there, second grade adventurers. Welcome to the wacky and wonderful world of fairy tales. I'm Augie Ogre, and today, we're gonna dive deep into the realm of princes and princesses, talking animals, and magical spells. So grab your popcorn, sprinkle some fairy dust on it, and let the enchantment begin. Now, let's talk about the characteristics that make fairy tales so darn magical. First off, we all know that the stories are fictional. Then, we have the magnificent settings. Fairy tales are all about castles nestled upon lush green hills, inhabited by talking animals, and guarded by dragons with questionable dental hygiene. I mean, sure, they might have fiery breath, but flossing. Nada. There is always magic of some sort included in a fairy tale, for example poisoned apples, magical lamps, enchanted mirrors, and so many more. Let's not forget the lovable characters. You know, the ones who always seem to lose a shoe or take a nap that lasts 100 years. Who needs punctuality when you've got an epic adventure to embark on, am I right? And last but not least, most fairy tales teach a lesson, or have a moral to the story. All fairy tales are fictional stories. Fictional meaning they are made up and didn't really happen. There are a few telltale signs of a fairy tale. For example, many fairy tales will start with, once upon a time, or end with, they lived happily ever after. If you read or hear these phrases in a story, you can be almost certain it's a fairy tale. One of the best characteristics of fairy tales is the magic. Characters with magical powers. Wizards, fairy godmothers, pixies, enchanted fish, beasts under horrible spells. And let's not overlook the enchanted objects. Have you ever seen a genie pop out of an old lamp or a magic mirror with an attitude bigger than its frame? Forget Siri, we want a mirror that tells us we're the most fabulous creature in the land. We haven't even begun to talk about the mythical creatures. Mermaids, unicorns, dragons, and so much more. And what would a fairy tale be without a dash of true love's kiss? It's the ultimate cure for everything, from dragon-induced snores to comatose states. Move over, Cupid, true love's kiss takes the cake for the most magical matchmaking trick. Now, where do I sign up for that? Next up, we can't forget about the wicked villains. Cue the creepy music. These baddies are the epitome of evil, sporting sinister laughs, dramatic capes, and eyebrows that are permanently raised in an evil arch. Can we say, eyebrows on fleek? We're diving into the enchanting world of fairy tales and exploring some of the common characteristics of fairy tale characters that have captured our imaginations for generations. From talking animals to magical beings, these characters have always had a special place in our hearts. You see, these characters in fairy tales have become legends for a reason. They've captured our hearts, entertained us, and taught us valuable life lessons along the way. Who needs reality when you can escape into these enchanting realms, right? So, let's start with the OGs, the ones who paved the way for all those happily ever afters, the handsome princes. You know, the dudes who appear out of thin air, riding majestic horses, just to smooch a princess awake. Seriously, where can I find one of those? You see, many fairy tales have characters that are royalty, princes, princesses, kings, and queens. And let's not forget the brave heroines. They're not your average damsels in distress. Oh no, they're too busy slaying dragons, outwitting wicked witches, and generally being total baddies. You go, girls. Oh, the classic villain. Just one look at their sneaky smirks and you know something wicked this way comes. These guys revel in stirring up chaos and raining on a parade of happiness. But hey, gotta admit, they always have the most elaborate hideouts. And lastly, my personal favorites, the talking animals. Seriously, who doesn't love a good chatty critter? Whether they're giving life advice, cracking jokes, or singing show tunes, these furry, feathered, or scaly companions steal the show. Move over, humans. But let's face it, beneath all that sparkly fairy dust, there lie some truly hilarious life lessons that those storytellers cunningly hid away. Remember that, the tortoise and the hare, story. Oh, the classic race between an overconfident rabbit and a steadfast tortoise. Lesson 1, my friends, slow and steady wins the race. Unless you're bidding on eBay. In that case, quickest fingers for the win. Lesson number 2, Cinderella. A charming tale where a girl transforms from rags to riches thanks to, well, a glass shoe. Moral of the story, always keep your eye on the prize. Who knows, it might just be a pair of designer shoes. And I must mention, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We all know curiosity killed the cat, but in this case, curiosity messed with the breakfast of 3 grumpy bears. Lesson learned. Always ask for permission before you barge into someone's house. Trust me, it saves you from a sticky situation and an angry growl. But dear viewers, my favorite moral lesson lies within the tale of The Boy Who Cried Wolf. We all recall the boy who tricked his village with fake wolf alarms. You know what that means. Honesty is the best policy. Unless you're bluffing about buying the last piece of pizza. Oops. To sum it up, our fairy tales are more than just whimsical tales of magical creatures and true love's kiss. They're filled with laugh-inducing wisdom that can guide us through life. So remember, folks, as you embark on your own adventures, keep an eye out for those